global debt is not an abstract number. It is a real force, silent for years, and destructive when it surfaces. By 2024, global debt passed $300 trillion, more than 3 times what the world produces in a year. There is no historical precedent. Not after world wars, not during Great Depressions. This debt did not appear by accident. It was the result of deliberate decisions. Money was printed into existence, faster than any economy could absorb. Value didn't vanish overnight. It eroded silently, day by day. At first, almost no one noticed. Life went on as usual. Then the cracks started to appear, slowly and everywhere. The warning signs were there. Most people just chose to ignore them. Global debt is no longer abstract. It towers over economies, unseen but immense. Interest rates spiked. What once seemed safe became dangerously costly. Peripheral countries feel the strain first. Their debt is exposed, fragile, and vulnerable. Local currencies collapse. Values plummet and confidence evaporates. The IMF extends a lifeline. Temporary relief, but the underlying strain remains. Creditors are divided, each with different priorities. Negotiations stall, prolonging the crisis. Defaults unfold slowly. The country struggles under debt that cannot be fully repaid. Wealth is transferred silently. Citizens pay the hidden cost of debt. Even core countries are not immune. Debt erodes purchasing power quietly over time. Debt stress moves in loops. Problems in one region feed pressure elsewhere, globally. Debt creates invisible political pressure. Governments bend under hidden strain. Resources are leveraged in debt negotiations. Wealth flows outward, often leaving citizens behind. Creditors are fragmented. Conflicting interests, slow responses, prolonging crises. Advanced countries rarely default openly. Instead, debt erodes quietly through inflation and repression. Even core countries pay a price. Debt quietly erodes wealth and stability. Financial stress is global. Problems in one region ripple outward, affecting all. Wealth moves silently from citizens to governments. The cost of debt is hidden but real. The system oscillates between relief and crisis. Instability is managed, but the cost is real. The cost of debt is not always visible. It silently erodes wealth, services, and opportunity. The debt crisis is evolving. Pressure builds unevenly, country by country, region by region. Even the core is not immune. Pressure builds quietly, eroding wealth and power from within. Defaults are not always obvious. Sometimes they happen quietly within the system itself. The real cost of debt is not numbers on a balance sheet. It is lives, infrastructure, and futures quietly strained and eroded. Crises are rarely isolated. They travel along the veins of the global system, feeding back into every corner. Inflation is the silent default. Even when no payments are missed, purchasing power quietly erodes. Financial repression masks the cost of debt. Governments control capital flows, silently transferring wealth from citizens to the state. Trust erodes before collapse. When citizens doubt institutions, the cost of debt becomes invisible yet real. Interconnection was once called stability. Now, it becomes transmission. Shock does not remain contained. It multiplies, spreads, and feeds on itself. The system doesn't shatter, it simply stops holding together. When the system disappears, what remains is silence. Systems collapse, but structure always returns. From collapse comes design, from chaos, control. Control doesn't appear suddenly, it activates. Once activated, the system begins to move. When instability spreads everywhere, control does not disappear. It concentrates. Power gathers above the system itself. Stability is no longer organic. It is enforced. Every movement measured, every flow permitted. Control does not only command the system, it reshapes the space in which the system can move. From this moment, stability becomes structural. Power does not rise in chaos, it aligns. And once aligned, the system begins to move as one. Alignment creates order, but order alone is not enough. Now, the system enforces itself. Control was temporary. Enforcement was transitional. Structure is permanent. Volatility once defined the system. Uncertainty drove movement. Now, nothing unexpected can exist. The system no longer surrounds humanity. Humanity now exists inside the system. Participation becomes structure. Choices still appear to exist, Decisions are still made, but every path leads to the same destination. The system no longer governs existence. It becomes existence itself. Nothing lives outside the structure. Nothing collapses, nothing evolves, nothing escapes. The system is complete, and within this perfection, we are merely prisoners, where the bars are not made of iron, but of data. The labyrinth has no exit because an exit was never designed. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. The system doesn't just watch, it measures. You are not an inhabitant, you are the variable that has already been solved. The archive is closed. The future is now merely a repetition of what has already been decided. What remains is the silence of the archive. A story with no blank pages, where the end was written even before the beginning. For decades, sovereign debt has been treated as an abstract technical concept, a cold number buried in distant reports. But global debt has never been theoretical. It is a real force, invisible to most people, silent for long periods of time, and devastating when it can no longer be ignored. By 2024, total global debt surpassed $307 trillion. This is not a symbolic figure. It represents more than 3 times everything the world economy produces in an entire year. The real problem is the interest. Billions of dollars vanish every day just to keep this debt alive, draining the future of entire nations. Who holds this paper? Most global debt is a game of promises between governments, central banks, and major institutional investors. To pay what is owed, the system prints more. The result is the devaluation of your money while the debt continues to grow without end. While the numbers on computers increase, your purchasing power decreases. Inflation is the hidden tax that drains the value of your labor. It all comes down to a bubble of trust. When faith in paper vanishes, what remains is the inevitable collapse of a system with no ground to stand on. History teaches us that no debt grows forever. The reckoning is violent, turning yesterday's wealth into today's dust. In this scenario, only real value remains. Where paper fails, tangible assets become the only safe haven against financial chaos. Technology attempts to rebuild what politics destroyed. Digital reserves emerge as the new chapter in this eternal struggle for power and freedom. Power returns to the hands of those who produce it. In a world of infinite debt, true freedom is being your own bank. Digital surveillance is the old system's final weapon. Every move is tracked in a desperate attempt to maintain total control over your capital. The final choice is yours. The old world is fading, and the future belongs to those who dare to build their own path. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. What we saw in Rome and Weimar is happening now. The currency is diluted until the empire can no longer sustain itself. In chaos, wealth is not destroyed, it is transferred. While most lose everything to inflation, the few who understand the game become the world's new owners. The system wants you to believe the debt is yours, but it is your cell. The first step to freedom is to stop accepting paper as real value. The system wants you to believe the script has already been written. But while they print debt, we print knowledge. The archive is open. From now on, you are the one holding the pen. There is always more to the story behind the numbers. If you found value in this breakdown, consider subscribing to Black Finance Archive. See you in the next video.